Hello students, how are you? So in the previous video of why do we fall ill, we discussed the infectious agent and the disease caused by them. We talked about the virus, so the virus that called common cold. The name of that virus that causes common cold is rhinovirus. Other diseases by the viruses are influenza, dengue fever, AIDS. When the infectious agent is bacteria, then the diseases caused are typhoid, fever, cholera, tuberculosis, anthrax, etc. Protozoans causes malaria, kala azar, and worms causes worm infections, elephantiasis, etc. So these are the different diseases caused due to the different infectious agent that we have already discussed in the previous video. Okay, today we will discuss why do we need to understand the characteristics of these infectious agents. Very important topic. Okay, so let's start without wasting much time. Why do we need to understand the characteristics of these infectious agents? If we understand the characteristics, we can treat the disease caused by them in a better way. We can find out which medicine would work on which infectious agent, and some common characteristics of infectious agents are. See, if we understand the characteristics, what are the characteristics? The property that a particular organism or a particular thing show, that is its characteristics. So if we understand the characteristics of an organism pretty well, then the disease caused by it, then we can treat the disease caused by it well, because if we know about how it is sustaining its life, okay, how it's doing its different metabolic processes, so if we can understand these things about its life, then we can easily treat the disease that are caused by various organisms. Okay, so that's why we need to understand the characteristic of this infectious agent. Okay, and with the help of that, because if we will knowing the characteristics of a particular organism, then only we can find out that which medicine would work on which infectious agent. You might have seen whenever you go to a doctor, and if you have some different, means for example the last time if you went and you told the doctor that you had fever, then he gave you some medicines, and then if the next time you told him fever, but now the reason he asked and you told the different reason, then he might give you some different pills. Why? Because after finding the characteristics, he can know that the disease, what is caused of the disease. Okay, so he can find out the medicine which will be most suitable for it, for that infectious agent. Okay, some common characteristics of infectious agents that are: first, viruses live inside the host body. Okay, most of the viruses that are the infectious agents, these are the most important, because see, outside the body they are non-living organism, and when they come inside the body, they work as living organism. Okay, so when till the virus is outside, it cannot cause a disease, because it's like non-living organism, it cannot replicate, it cannot. But once it comes inside the body of an organism, it also replicates its DNA, genome, and that's why it behaves as a living organism. Okay, so once the virus comes inside the body, it behaves as a disease causing organism. Second, bacteria do not generally live inside the host body. So bacteria generally do not live inside the host body, they generally remain outside also, and they can cause the disease. Okay, but with viruses, they definitely live inside the host body and cause the disease. Third, virus, bacteria and fungi multiply very quickly. See, there are certain unicellular, multicellular, and it depend on their altogether physiology, but they can multiply very quickly. Okay, so when they multiply very quickly, and if they are disease causing, that it is very difficult for our immune system to stop them, because they multiply very quickly and they make a large number of them. So that's why for our immune system it is very difficult once they rapidly multiply. Worms do not multiply quickly, and these worms, generally the worms live in the intestinal area. Okay, majority of the worms causing infections are of intestine, stomach, because they need food. They are the slow developing animals and they do not multiply quickly. So because at the intestine or in the stomach they can get the food easily. Okay, otherwise all other like or other parasite, they can feed on blood or other things, but worms, they need food. So that's why they are found in the intestine or stomach, etc. They are also found other places also, but majority of them are in the intestine region. Okay, so the most important question that arised was why do we need to understand the characteristic of these infectious agents? I hope it is clear that because of the physiology they perform, or because of the metabolic activities they perform, the physiology they have, it is very important to know that what is the metabolic function carried out by them, so that we can understand that and we can find out which medicine would work on which infectious agent. Clear, students? Next is how penicillin can help fight against bacteria. See, it is an antibiotic, so let's discuss how does the penicillin help us to fight against the bacteria. Antibiotics are generally used to block the growth of bacteria. Okay, antibiotics, see, bio means life and anti means against, so these are the things that are against the life. Okay, very important. If we try to split the word antibiotics, what does it mean? Anti and biotics. Bio means life, generally life. Okay, wherever we use the word bio, it means life. Like for example, in the cell fundamental unit of life chapter, we discussed membrane biogenesis. So what is membrane biogenesis? Bio means life, genesis means formation. So bio, wherever the word attaches, it is about the life. We talk about biodiversity, so different type of living forms, different diversity of living form, that is the biodiversity. So wherever there is a bio word included, what is biology? Study of life. Okay, so wherever there is a bio word attached, we can say it is of the life forms. So antibiotics, anti, it is against the life forms. Why it is against? Because it is killing the bacteria, and bacteria is a living form, so we can say that it is antibiotic that is against the life. So antibiotics are generally used to block the growth of bacteria. The bacteria cells grow by creating a cell wall that protects them. Okay, now how does the bacteria grow? First we need to understand that. See, I told you that why do we need to understand the characteristics? Because we can carry out or we can find out the correct medicine. And what do we need to find the characteristic? That how does it grow, how does it do its metabolic activity, these things. So the bacteria cell grows by creating a cell wall that protects them. If you go back to the chapter fundamental unit of life, I told you cell wall is thick, it protects the cell from external harmful conditions. So for a cell, for a bacteria, these antibiotics are harmful conditions. Okay, they are not useful conditions, so this is against the, so they need to protect themselves. So how they will protect? They will protect themselves by a cell wall. So bacteria cell grows by creating a cell wall that protects them. Penicillin is an antibiotic that prevents the growth of cell wall, and hence bacteria die easily. Penicillin is used for fighting against different kinds of bacteria. Now what does the penicillin do? The penicillin stops the growth of the cell wall, and once the cell wall is stopped, the growth of cell wall is stopped, then there will be no cell wall and the cell cannot be protected by the harsh environment. Now for example, if we say the bacteria goes to the stomach region. Okay, for example, we have just now consumed a food that was contaminated with the bacteria, and bacteria moved to our stomach. Now we already know that there in our stomach there will be mucus layer, and then there will be HCl, highly acidic HCl. Okay, the pH of which it is 1 to 2. Highly acidic HCl is found in the stomach. So if there would not have been a cell wall for the bacteria, it would have died easily there because of that highly acidic pH. But how does that bacteria survive there? Because of that cell wall. Once the penicillin works, the penicillin, what does it do? It stops the growth of that cell wall. And once the cell wall growth stops, then the bacteria become more permeable to the harsh condition. Means this harsh condition can easily affect the bacteria. Okay, see students, some of the things that are connected to the first chapter, okay, the fundamental unit of life. So like the cell wall is thick, I told you there. Like bio, I word biogenesis, I just discussed. Like here biotics. So some things that are related, I will be relating with them. Okay, so that's how the penicillin can help fight against bacteria by preventing the growth of the cell wall, so the bacteria die easily, and penicillin is used for fighting against different kinds of bacteria. Clear students, that how penicillin can fight against bacteria? Okay. Next topic is several types of diseases based on the types of disease, and we can say the causing factor. Based on the means of spread of disease, we can classify it into different categories. Let's take a look. See, types of disease, causing factor and examples. First type of disease is airborne disease. What is airborne disease? They are caused by germs, bacteria or viruses in the air. For example, common cold, tuberculosis. This we all know, that how does the common cold virus, rhinovirus, spread in the environment? With the help of the air. Okay, if you inhale that and it reaches to your nasal pathway, then it leads to the cold. Okay, so airborne disease, that is due to the presence of this is due to the presence of certain microorganism in the air. Okay, airborne means due to air, the disease which are caused due to air, that are airborne disease. Example is common cold, tuberculosis. Okay, second one, I told you before also, when we consume contaminated food and water, so foodborne diseases, they are caused by germs like bacteria, toxins, viruses, fungi present in the food. Because these are all, if they are present in the food, then it is said to be contaminated food. Okay, so that's why I told you previously also that if you consume contaminated food and the bacteria reaches your stomach, so this is one way that how a disease can be caused, or a microorganism causing disease can reach inside our body. First is airborne disease with the help of air. Second is foodborne disease, that is with the help of contaminated food. Examples of such kind of diseases are typhoid and food poisoning. You might have very often see this conditions, food poisoning. Okay, it might have been happen to you also. If you eat lot of fast food and you have eaten a lot of junk food, then the condition of food poisoning occurs. Why? Because sometimes what do, they the food that is kept for a long period of time, it get rotten. Okay, so it leads to food poisoning and typhoid. Third type of disease is the waterborne diseases. What is the causing factor? As the name suggests, waterborne diseases are the diseases caused because of the water. Okay, so they are caused by drinking contaminated water. Similarly, they are caused by the germs like bacteria that are present in the water, and the examples of waterborne diseases are cholera and amoebiasis. Okay, airborne disease due to air, foodborne disease due to food, and waterborne disease due to different germs, bacteria in the water. Fourth, lifestyle diseases. What are lifestyle diseases? Lifestyle diseases are the diseases that occur because of poor or unhealthy lifestyle. If you remember, in the very first video, I told you that what are the steps for the better health. Then one of them was good economic condition and good healthy lifestyle. Because of these unhealthy lifestyle, there are various of the organisms that can cause disease in us. For example, heart diseases and diabetes. Okay, so lifestyle diseases because of the unhealthy lifestyle, heart diseases, a lot of it is, and diabetes, that is due to unhealthy lifestyle. Then is vector borne diseases. Diseases caused due to animals that carry infectious agents from sick person to another person. Although animals act as these animals act as intermediate between diseases causing germs and people, are called vectors. So okay, the vector borne diseases, because of the vector transfers that disease causing microorganism into the body. Okay, that are very famous example is malaria and dengue fever, vector borne diseases. Okay, next is sexually transmitted diseases. They are caused due to sexual contact from one person to another. Sexual contact from one person to another means with the help of sexual activity, the virus, for example AIDS, of HIV, that we so called human immunovirus, enters in the body. Okay, because of the exchange of the fluid. So example is AIDS, syphilis. Hepatitis is also one of the example of sexually transmitted disease. Okay, so these are the different kinds of types of diseases, like airborne disease, foodborne diseases, waterborne diseases, lifestyle, vector borne, and sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, you need to remember the name of the diseases and the cause, or you can say the type due to which it is formed. Okay, clear students? Take a look at this table again, and then we will be moving forward. Now next is, where do disease causing germs live in our body? There are number of tissues and organs in our body where these microbes can get attached to. Okay, there are number of tissues and organs in our body where these microorganisms can live and fulfill their daily task or daily metabolic activities. Okay, like digestion, respiration, etc., and they can live there and also multiply themselves. Generally, the point of entry decides where they will go. it is very important point. Generally the point of entry decides where they will go. For instance, any microbe that enters through the nose is likely to settle at the lungs, or any pathway, nasal pathway means windpipe or nasal pathway and lungs. These are the only pathway. If for example if it enters through mouth, then where it will finally fall apart, it in the stomach or intestine. Okay, so these the point of entry decides where the disease causing germ will go. Third, this can also be seen through signs and symptoms of a disease, as only those organs and tissues seems affected where these microbes enter. Means that symptoms that are shown if in a particular organ, like for example if I told you that kidney is affected, then only kidney will be showing that symptoms, that the proper filtration will not occur. Okay, there will be problem in the urine, so that it can easily be told that there is a problem in the excretory part, and once after examining, the doctor can tell you whether which part of that is affected. Okay, so this can also be seen through the signs and symptoms of a disease, as only those organs and tissues affected where microbes enter. But there are some other common diseases that are not tissue specific, means that the tissue is not specific. Okay, there are some other common diseases that are not tissue specific, means they do not require any specific type of tissue to attack. Inflammation. Our body has an immune system in which it creates the cell that can fight against the disease causing germs. Okay, I was talking a lot about this immune system. The first time the word has come, immune system. Our body has immune system in which it creates a cell that can fight against the disease causing germs. This process of recruiting cells to kill the infectious agents present in our body is called inflammation. Okay, the inflammation process shows different effects on our body, such as fever or swelling. You can see wherever there is a swelling, inflammation, the temperature of that region is high. So the temperature of that region is high because why? Because that organism, whichever the foreign microorganism has come, it cannot survive, I told you, at the higher temperature, because its enzyme does not work at high temperature. So once the enzyme stop working, it also eventually dies. Okay, so this inflammation is a response of our immune system towards a disease causing microorganism that has entered our body. Clear? Hence we can say that the likelihood we are going to be affected by the disease is determined by the immune system of the body. Very important thing, that we can say that how we are going to affected, are we going to affected or we are not going to affected, is determined by the immune system of the body. Okay, so these are the things, students, related to the infectious agents. In this video we talked about different types of infectious agents, then different types of diseases like airborne, foodborne, etc., and then where do these germs live inside the body. Okay, in the next video, students, we will be studying the treatment, okay, about diseases and how we can treat them properly. Okay, students, keep studying, take care of yourselves and stay inside the house. Thank you and have a nice day.